And here we go.
5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering way.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone! I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime and his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being... Oh, no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope...
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, biddiga-dig-bee, biddiga-dig-boo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
What's going on, everybody? We're back. It's February 12th, 2025 in the year of our Lord. It's good to be here with you. Welcome. I'm your host, George Mullum. Still recovering, everyone, from, you can tell my voice. Still recovering from the cold, but nothing can keep me from all of you. I hope you're all doing great. I see Steel Leg of History is here. Bless you, my friend. Emily Kruger, Wendy C. Rada Wolf, Talks, Nick the Greek, Yasu Filemu, KB, Elaine Gozwitsky. I hope I said that right. Penny, Marika, Shark, everybody's coming in. I can't wait. You know, I've been working on a lot of things. I think that's why my cold is lasting a touch longer. I've been working on a special project. I cannot wait to share it with you. I've been dropping hints about it. Hopefully there'll be something a little bit to tell you this weekend. You'll probably see the first poster for it Sunday. In one way or another, I've been working on it for 3 years. This is going to be in the next 10 days where Slayer Nation plants its flag in the world. Something different. But now, I have my good friends waiting. We have a lot to talk about. Hollywood is celebrating for the wrong reasons. Of course. But they're celebrating actually a delusion. You had Tulsi Gabbard was just confirmed. You had Kristi Gnome claw back all that money that was going to luxury hotels for illegals. Plus, you got Disney's Captain America is out. You also have Amazon decided to have an early April Fool's joke with the release of a trailer for a new movie. I really thought it was a joke because when I saw it, I was like, well, you'll see it when we watch the trailer. Plus, a lot of crazy things are going on. We have RFK supposed to be confirmed tomorrow. Of course, you know, Mitch the Turtle Bitch. He was the sole holdout for Tulsi. And otherwise, it's going well. We got RK, King of the Mods. We got Olaf. And hopefully Lord Thoth will be joining us soon. Iron Man, hail to you. So let's get him out here. My good friends. Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark, and Andre.
Hello. Hey,
Hello. Greetings
Special
to
guest
you.
Andre.
Special guest Andre. How is, you know, I still have to pinch myself that I get to stream with y'all. I heard y'all for so many years. I've told the story 50 times, but when y'all had me on the show the first time, I still, pinch myself. I love it.
To have you on much more often.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the door is always open.
Thank you, sir. So let's start first. We'll just show a little bit of a celebration and then we'll jump into it. This is Tulsi today. She just got sworn in.
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely.
Isn't that beautiful? I think.
I remember thinking when she was running against Biden back in the day, like I was like, imagine if she and Trump were on the same team. What a winning team that would be. And here we are. And about RFK, as far as I understand, there was like a tie or something. So JD Vance has to leave France to go back and break the vote. So then that means he's going to get confirmed as well.
Yes, sir. That's it. Yeah, there's a tie. I don't really know why they do this. If it's just trying to, you know, put a thumb in your face. It's just like Mitch McConnell.
I can tell you why.
Okay.
I can tell you why.
Okay.
Because that means that there's a few Republicans that haven't been sufficiently loyal. That's the only way. I don't know, but I would speculate that these would be the Republicans that receive so much money from the pharmaceutical industry that their allegiance to the pharmaceutical industry is higher than their allegiance to the party. And they probably figure that that they'll be more screwed if they screw over the pharmaceutical company. Like they're like, okay, if I just show I'm loyal, maybe I'll get like a new position there or something after I'm out, and I want to be out anyway. That would be my best guess, because this is not a hill worth dying for any Republican politicians, because they all must know the moment you go against Trump's choices, I mean, for better or worse, Trump is a mob boss. And there's going to be a price to pay for anyone that votes their quote unquote conscious, i.e. donors, over his wishes.
I agree. It's just to do it the way that they're doing. Well, I agree wholeheartedly. It just, I think that's one of the greatest things that I love about Trump is how, by his very nature and the actions that he takes on a daily basis, it unmasks people. They unmask themselves. It's like you're more loyal to the pharmaceutical industry than you are to your country. You're more. And what were they all pissed off about Tulsi? Because she was tired of basically all the spying on Americans. That was her issue. They're like, no, we want to keep these programs in place, but it's insane.
Yeah.
So hopefully RFK tomorrow and Kash Patel, they keep playing games with. It's like they're terrified more of Kash Patel heading up the FBI than anything else.
Well, I don't know who they're the most terrified of. It seems like they're equally terrified of most of them.
Yeah, and of course Elon,
I think like they're most terrified of whoever's speaking in the moment.
That's a good point. That is a great point. It's like there was something last night when I was watching. We'll see those clips in a few minutes. But Elon was with his child, I think he's called X, in the Oval Office. And, Trump was speaking. And I have never seen a modern day president who is in the Oval Office and allowed another person so much time to talk. I mean, if you think about it, it's just something simple and basic because, a president, a politician, they want all the focus and attention on them. But you saw here, Musk was going for like 20 minutes and Trump was just sitting there, once in a while he'd say something, but he allowed the man to just say everything he wanted to say. And that observation, a lot of people have missed it, but I was like, think about that. Here's a man. See, those are the things to me that prove how much he loves the country. When they say it's all about ego, I'm sure he's got a great ego. You don't become as successful as he is and reach the heights he has without having an ego. But he shows that no ego. He let the other gentleman just stand there for 20 minutes and talk. Anyway, I have heard that you saw, as we switch to Hollywood, that you saw Captain America: Brave New World.
I did.
And what is the lowdown, my friend?
It's very, very low. And it's getting lower the more I think about it. We actually discussed it on this morning show on Midnight's Edge in the morning. I discussed it with Paulie of Latino Stamp and Midnight's Edge Espanol fame. And the funny thing is that when we started discussing it, none of us hated it. We were disappointed. It's not the movie we would have liked. We expected it to be bad, and it kind of was. But it was really fresh in both our minds. And the more we thought about it, as we discussed it and pointed out things that the other had missed, both of us ended up subtracting from our initial scores. And it was kind of funny. Paulie, he was at the beginning, it was I was all right. And then towards the end, it was man, this was garbage. And it's true. It's the kind of movie where it seems okay for the most part when you see it. Right. As you really think about it and you digest it more and more, it just falls apart completely. I don't often get to use the phrase, but this is the textbook example of a Frankensteinian abomination.
I like that.
That is a term that I only use when you have a movie that's a very obvious patchwork that is put together by different parts of so basically it's an abomination in the eyes of Kubrick because it's such a poorly edited together mess. And in this case, it's very obviously one movie which started out as 4 different movies that have all been patched together with different parts that don't fit all that well together. And there's even one subplot where you can tell that, hey, this thing doesn't fit with the movie that they have. It may have fit in the original version, but it no longer fits here. Like, it's this particular subplot makes absolutely no sense. Why is it still here? Why are we still going on about this at this point in the movie when that thing was resolved 2 different cuts ago?
Unbelievable.
It's just a really poorly, sloppily edited together. It's a mess. It's a complete mess.
It sounds like Wish.
Yeah.
You know, the way it was.
Yeah, I know. Wish bored me to tears. In some
With
sense,
the reshoots and stuff, I think this is more like Flash. It sounds like.
Yes, it's Flash. I wouldn't compare it to Wish, because Wish was garbage and it was completely unimaginary and everything like that. But what it wasn't was something that was strung together by competing visions. Tom is quite on the money here. Flash is a far better comparison, because that's also a movie that they remade several different times, because there were several different visions for it under several different regimes, right? So that was a movie that completely changed. Like, at one point, it was just supposed to be like a Flashpoint movie, and that was it. And then came a new regime, and their intention was, no, we are now going to completely end the Snyderverse, and we are going to bring on the ladies, the DEI DC verse. We're going to get rid of Batman. We're going to bring on Batgirl. We're going to get rid of Superman, replace him with Supergirl. It's going to be awesome. So then the movie was retooled to that end. And then the regime changed again. It's like, no, we are now going to bring back the Snyderverse. So now we're going to have Ben Affleck back in and everything like that. And then suddenly came the Gunverse. And it's like, no. Now all of it is lost. Now it's going to end on a joke. See that? That's the movie was another Frankensteinian abomination, where the movie had been remade several times over with different visions and different corporate strategies. And what came out was just this patchwork that didn't fit together at all. Captain America Brave New World is the same thing. This movie is a patchwork of 4 different movies stitched together, falling apart at the seams.
So were there any redeeming qualities about it? Like, could you see there was a good movie in there somewhere, just got destroyed? Okay. So
no, this was never a good movie. What I will say is that I think that at some point, it was never a good movie, but it was a more interesting movie, because at one point, it was a movie which was all about condemning Donald Trump. It was all about apologizing for the treatment of Black people in America. It was all about BMM. It was all about January 6th, everything like that. You could see that the traces of that are in the movie. And at one point, that's what it was all about. Now, that would not have been a better movie, but just like watching Triumph of the Will and something like that, it would have been more interesting to see, just to watch a piece of propaganda. Now, you wouldn't have to agree with it, but it would be interesting to see, because that would have been one vision. Not the vision you'd agree with, but at least it was one vision. Now, what we got is the result of changing visions and desperation. And you can totally tell which reshoots were made after Trump won the election, and now they suddenly have to make good and make the president seem good and likable again. Because otherwise Trump is going to slap them, which is happening anyway. So you can totally tell what happened at which point here.
Okay. Well, okay, that's good. 1 second. We have some gifted memberships. Mouse World 666 comes in roaring hot. Thank you, Mouse World. I hope you're doing well. He gifted 5 George the Giant Slayer memberships. All right. Can't yell any louder to thank you. It's like I started going more and my voice like, yeah, what are you doing? We're straight better. And bless you, my friend. And then we got Blitzen coming in right behind him. 10 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Please, everybody, go thank these amazing human beings. And from me to you, bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to have an amazing, amazing next member stream with so many people. Plus, that's what I'm going to talk to you about, my special project. Tom knows about it. It's just not ready yet. But Slayer Nation will plant its flag in the next 10 days. I'm excited, a bit nervous, but thank you, gentlemen. Y'all are just amazing. Now, this is what I want to ask. I saw Andre, that Dante had posted up he had posted up a picture, or it was a video of one of the actresses in Captain Checkbox, and she doesn't look like she weighs anywhere between 70 to 90 pounds soaking wet. And
yes, this would be Captain Israel, right? The Israeli Black Widow.
I don't know,
the
but
actress, I think Shira Haas or something like that. I believe the actress is a cancer survivor, or she has some kind of thing.
God, now I feel bad.
I'm not entirely sure, but I know that.
But he said she was throwing around like 200-pound guys.
Yes, at a couple of points she was. This was the most unbelievable part of the entire movie. Yeah.
I was like, I thought he was joking because I don't get to see it till I think it's tomorrow night. So, but literally this little, because they showed her and she's tiny. I don't have a picture, but she's tiny.
Yeah, and also like her her body's like slightly out of proportion. Like I'm not going to, but
she's tiny.
There's something there. Yeah, so she's tiny, but it's also like you can tell that there's something that's not entirely in proportion.
It's like you'd think Hollywood would, again, have gotten the message when they look at their receipts year after year. Please, both of you, correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading a report that was stating, and I think it was from that Park Place, that was stating that 2024 almost doubled the amount of movies that were released from 23, but brought in less revenue.
But at least it was a very good gender parity in those movies. There was a different report that stated that.
Yeah, I think that's what they were talking about, because they were saying, Hollywood are celebrating today that in 2024, half of the films featured female leads. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
If the stories are written well, half of my movie collection has female leads, from Colombiana, La Femme Nikita, Aliens. I mean, I can keep going. The Long Kiss Goodnight, one of my favorites.
Summer Lovers, yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I even have read Sonia with Brigitte Nielsen, but that was horrible. You go. That was horrible. And by the way, are they still moving?
Not bad, but yeah, well, it's far better than this movie.
Are they still moving forward? I heard that there was going to be a Red Sonja movie.
It's filmed and it's in the can and it's awaiting release. They just have to find distribution.
Any possibility for any positive prospects from it, or does it look like it's dead on arrival?
I really cannot say. I'm afraid that it's a movie that was made a little bit too soon for its own good. Because at one point in its development, it was going to be super duper ultra woke. It was like a black woman who was cast as Red Sonja. It was going to be all about genders and fluidity and stuff like that. That ended with a retooling under a new director. But there was still some environmental angle, and that's still there. So I think the movie was filmed just a little bit too soon, before they had gotten over the wokeness completely. I think it's going to be not great, but I think it might be an okay movie.
Mm-hmm.
The big problem for it is that at the surface, it's still a girl boss movie, which of course Red Sonja in a sense should be, but I think that's a big part of the reason why it hasn't found distribution yet. So there's no release date in sight. The studio had hoped to release it last year, and that didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. Good to know. The Beast, member for 8 months. Aloha and blessings to all. Appreciate you, George. Thank you. I always love kind wishes for the panel and for us all. Aloha to you, my friend. Love you. Thank you for those kind blessings. And we got Graph Webb, the most patient, most determined human being on YouTube. On the internet, hell, the internet. Graph Web for $2 for Harrison Saggy Butt. Cancel Disney Plus. Amen.
Cancel Disney Plus.
I think cancel Amazon is going to be up next after we see this. I couldn't believe. I literally thought at first it was an early April Fool's joke.
Or are we talking about the trailer for season 3 of what a series? I forgot the name of it.
Which one?
The one that's supposed to be gender neutral and about the equality between genders, and they made it female centric.
Oh, I
the
don't know.
Robert Jordan thing.
No, I think this is the Kamala Harris Die Hard movie, I believe.
Oh, Die Hard. Okay, so I'm not the only one that thinks. I thought this is. I saw him like this is Die Hard, but a weird knockoff. It's like Air Force One, but it just it feels bad. It's like a president. Okay, Harrison Ford. I can, at the time, that type of movie. I loved Air Force One. I enjoyed it. Good popcorn flick. Gary Oldman, but this just brought him from The Boys over. I can't believe he took this film. I thought the actor. I don't really like the last 2 seasons of The Boys, but I think he's a pretty decent actor.
Beer once.
He did
the
what?
actor from The Boys. He served me beer. I'm not joking. No, I'm serious. I'm serious because the actor from The Boys, like the Homelander, in the late 90s, early 2000s, he actually lived in Oslo, Norway.
Oh.
And he worked as a bartender in Aker Brygge, in a place I used to go to. I think I kind of remember him. No joke. Look it up.
Oh, cool. That's cool. There's a series that he did that I loved. It was the first time I ever saw him. It was called Banshee. It was brilliant in that.
It's fantastic. I love it. I mean, that was a real Preacher series right there. Never mind the wannabe Preacher series. That was a real Preacher series.
Hell yeah. I love the entire series. Written well. Awesome fight.
Don't spoil me. I only seen the first season. I still have to see seasons 2 to 4.
Okay, you gotta see. Incredible. Hey, giggity, great to see you. That is so great, Black Superwoman. No one bought Queen Latifah as the equalizer, so who the heck is gonna buy this? I know. Wait, it's just too much. The thing is she's a very talented actress. I don't know why they take this crap.
You know what the big problem is, though? That the heroes here are the G20, the leaders of the world. Given the real G20, I'm with the terrorists on this one.
I'm with you there.
No fucking way.
That's what I'm telling you.
She can't move that fast. No fucking way. Might as well have Oprah goddamn Winfrey up there doing the shit. The Shequalizer is more believable than this, because at least Queen Latifah has always been a big bitch, right? Like, she's always been a big girl.
I know, but come on.
Like, Viola Davis, I'm sorry, great actress, but she looks fucking old and fat here.
I know, but come on.
No fucking way.
Did you see Queen Latifah? I saw a clip from one of the seasons where she did some kind of like split kick. I'm like, who are you kidding? Like some kind of jump, split, tornado. I'm like, give me a break.
Wait a minute. Is this about Big Mike? I think Spinstead is right. I take that back if this is about Big
We see that? Am I mistaken here? Is this the husband is tied up, helpless, can't do anything?
Of course.
Wow. I mean, like, Hollywood really just, wow.
You ought to be.
The Secret Service would screw that up,
It's a what?
Because the Secret Service would screw that up,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because exactly. Secret Service can't do anything.
Steroids or something. There's something. Is it just me? Am I noticing this about her?
No.
She's something in her face or something's off about her. Like,
she worked out.
Is that what it is? Like,
I don't know what it is.
By beefing up with fucking human growth hormone.
I don't know what the hell it is, but come on. And the only thing missing is Gerard Butler. From those the White House movies.
Has fallen, yeah.
This has fallen, the moon has fallen, heaven has fallen, Olympus has fallen. And I like Gerard Butler, but come on. It's like, she's the Gerard Butler, McClane.
I have a joke where I actually rate movies on diehards, right? Like, because it's a genre now.
Yeah.
Right. We have so many movies that are basically a ripoff of Die Hard that I'll give a movie, I'll rate it on diehards. Like, it's like 2 out of 5 diehards, right? Just looking at this trailer, it's like 1 out of 5 diehards at this point, man. It's just so bad. Right?
It is. And then you had Scarlett Johansson got a little pissy today.
Did she?
Oh, yeah, because, Kanye has gone crazy and he was doing all the posting. And so somebody put together an AI video of celebrities.
Oh, I saw this, yeah. Did anybody find out how many of those shirts he actually sold?
I have no idea, but she got pissed off saying, you know, there needs to be laws passed. I think she was mentioning she wants to sue and this is wrong and da-da-da. I'm like, I think she's just angry. He made her look better than how she looks today. I mean, I think she's pissed. I like Scarlett Johansson's acting, meaning like her performances. I don't like the political ideology she believes in, but she went on a tear, just was furious, like, how dare you use my likeness? And because, you know, she sued, I think it was a year and a half ago. It wasn't OpenAI. It was someone else that was developing technology for the celebrity voices, and they had used one that was very.
Well, I think I see the biggest problem here is we can feel however we want to feel about this, but she isn't wrong in a sense that I guess from my understanding of this is they are selling those shirts that they have in those ads. And the moment they're doing that, they are technically breaking the law.
Really?
Right? Like they're violating all those actors. Because you can't just use an actor to advertise something like that. It doesn't work that way.
How do those companies, because I see these companies online, I think they're called Red Shirt, Red Bubble or something. They just make all kinds of artistic shirts and they have actors or movie posters, but they're changed. They're somehow.
They're small enough organizations, nobody really goes after them. But like we've even gotten cease and desist letters from Paramount and shit for certain things. So like, and other things like that. So like it happens. Sometimes you just fall into a place where it's like too much like the real thing, if that makes any sense. So
yeah,
like,
it does. So when
as far as like an actor's likeness, you can't just use them to advertise something like that without having your.
And I don't even. That's a good point, but I don't think there needs to be a law passed. Why don't they just say this is AI?
There is already, I guess.
I mean, why not just say this is AI? That solves it all. Everybody knows under there, you know, you get a little bar. This is artificial, you know, this is made with AI. Solves everything.
I mean, I think that's obvious now, and I get what you're saying, but I mean, here's my point, I guess. There's already laws that protect against this. So in this case, the AI is not the problem.
Okay.
In fact, because you'll have this right now on Facebook. There's a bunch of these fake ads where they're even Robert Meyer Burnett's been a victim of this, where they'll use images of actors and stuff for advertisements, and they're not legal.
Okay.
Like, that's just it. You can't just do that. It's the way it works. You can't just use somebody's likeness to advertise something.
Oh, damn. I was going to make a Megan.
Now, if it had just been somebody making an AI video and that was it, we'd be having a different conversation right now. See, like the AI is kind of the.
You mean I can't put a T-shirt together with Megan and hair and say, you know, half foot and the heartbeat on it?
That might be a little bit different. I don't know about Megan, but Harry might be in the public domain because usually depending on because like public servants are technically public domain. Gotcha. So like Arnold Schwarzenegger ran into that problem when he became governor, right? He tried to stop a bunch of Governator merchandise, but he found out he couldn't.
I found the girl. Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about the girl from before? I could have showed you that. I had it here, but you moved on. So
yeah,
I didn't know you still needed it. Yeah, I had this for you, but
okay. Well,
I guess what she's had kidney disease or something, from since she's like 2.
Yeah, no. God bless her. I don't, you know, her health is her health. I wish everybody good health, but it's the fact that they would cast her to beat up 200-pound men. I just don't see it. Does
she looks like a little kid.
I know,
but
I'm
not trying to be mean.
Yeah, she looks like a 12-year-old boy with some development issue. Yes,
it's because she does have technically development issues. Yeah,
she has something. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, Andre, real quick, does she have superpowers in the?
No, none. She's a former Black Widow.
Oh, okay.
They said, which means she's a former Red Sparrow. So her superpower is to be super sexy and use her body as a weapon and throw around guys 4 times her size and weight. And although her role has been cut down, this is still going to cause a lot of controversy, because if you were to go political a little bit, because this movie is super political, you have a lot of people, especially on the left, that have huge problems with Israel, and their big problem is that they feel that Israel. I'm not saying anything is true or not. I'm just reporting what many are feeling, that they feel that basically Israel is lording over the United States, and running everything with donations and all kinds of stuff, right? You know what her role is in this movie? She's the closest advisor and chief of security, basically, for the president of the United States. So I'm sure that's going to be really popular among those that aren't too fond of Israel, that here you have an Israeli agent that basically has complete and total access to the president and presumably all kinds of intel about American intelligence and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's already happening,
it's
Andre.
really going to fire off the protesters a little bit even more there.
Yeah, as you can see here from this, it's already technically happening. Yeah.
See, to me, it just isn't believable. Like, I don't care, Black Belle, Black Widow, whatever you are.
I mean, if you
you're
look
a
at this
tiny
picture to
little
the right,
yeah,
she's almost, Harrison Ford is almost as tall as her, slumped down in his chair. And she's standing there.
yeah, it's just not believable as for storytelling. It's not believable storytelling. That's the problem. That there's no, unless you had the superpower, and you said she didn't. So no, yeah, not believable.
No,
but
and I'm not making fun of her.
no, we're talking about the
issue.
character. We're talking
But
about
yeah,
the
it's
character.
their fault for putting her in this position, and you can't be having her throwing around 200-pound men when she doesn't even weigh 70 pounds wet. I'm sorry, there's just no fucking way.
Yeah, Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman at least, and she was also tall.
Yeah, she's tall at least. That's the difference. Yeah,
but she was also Wonder Woman, so you could go, okay, Wonder Woman.
She was actually in the Israeli army, so
it's just nuts. But it would be like when Rachel Zegler last year, 2023, she won the People's Choice for Best Action Star of the Year, beating out
Weird.
Keanu Reeves and Denzel Washington for Equalizer and John Wick.
Her guitar action in that movie was amazing, though, George.
I know, come on. Yeah.
The ability to pretend that she could actually play a musical instrument.
Yeah. She knew how to blow whistles really well. But Pam Bondi is now having a press conference real quick. And there goes my camera. See, it caught the same.
Hey, take a drink.
Yeah, I can't. My antibiotics, but I will next time. I'll make up for it. It'll be double shots.
That was for the chat, but yeah.
Yeah, no, Chad, I'll do it next time. But Pam Bondi is now holding a live press conference, and this is something that has been driving me crazy, so I want to hear it. I think we all should look at it for a second. She's talking about these judges who keep putting out their orders against every aspect of the Trump administration, which is us, because of the fact that we put the president in office. Okay, let's go.
Was able to come across.
Just started and already let's see what the Attorney General says. Come on. There we go.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry we were a little bit late. I was in the West Wing swearing in Tulsi Gabbard, and so I just came straight back here. Sorry. Thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder.
Beautiful.
DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them.
Andre, do you all have that same issue in your country with activist judges overruling the elected officials?
No, because we do not have sensible elected officials. We basically have the local equivalent of the Biden government, so it's no issue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good state of affairs, but that's the state of affairs.
Okay. Oof.
Yes, exactly.
With me today, I'm so proud to be joined by Tammy Nobles. Tammy is an angel mom.
Yeah.
Her beautiful daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an MS-13 member in 2022.
Horrible.
Kayla had just turned 20 years old, and she was raped and murdered by someone who should not have been in our country. Yet he was released, flown to Maryland, where he committed this violent murder. I just want you to hear from Tammy. Tammy represents not only herself and her family, but all of the great angel moms around this country who have suffered because of what the Biden administration did, and it is over.
Someone, I think, was saying in the chat, wouldn't we want someone to do this? Wouldn't we want judges to do this for the Biden administration? I want the judges to follow the law, not legislate from the bench. I'll give you an example. You had that judge, I think his name was Judge Engelberger, and you had the attorney generals of 12 different states file a case with him. They held an ex parte hearing. They didn't allow the White House counsel to go there. No one from Treasury was allowed. So you have a judge listening to 12 attorney generals. They're the plaintiffs. The defendant wasn't there. That's wrong. I don't care who you are, Republican or Democrat. Judges need to stay within the law. How are they able to tell the Secretary of the Treasury, hey, guess what? You can't access or do your job? It's like, no, they don't have that type of authority. That's where they've gone. They've overstepped it. They're trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. They just want to slow Trump down. But guess what? He was voted in. It's the same way. I cannot stand the advice and consent from the Senate. I don't like it. I don't care if it's for a Democrat or Republican. When a president gets into office, he's elected by the people with a vision, a very specific vision that people get on board with. They go, this is what we want. This is what we want the administration to do. This is how we want our country to be shaped. The advice and consent from the Senate for nominees drives me crazy because that's only their check on a president so they can be able to cut deals. If a president stands up and goes, here's all my nominees. Let's say we didn't have advice and consent. He'd get all his nominees done in one day, right? If they're nut jobs, if they're whack jobs, if they're back crack crazy and they do something bad, guess what? The president's going to lose political currency, losing that political currency because the country's going to have a backlash against him, against his nominees. That means the House of Representatives, you're going to have the Senate. What are they going to do? We're not going to pass your legislation because you don't have any political power. So that administration will either have to change course, tacking backwards to listening to the people, or it's going to be a one-term administration. Again, it's the same way with the judges. What is Trump doing? He's staying within the law. If it were me personally, I would tell those judges, enforce it. Go ahead. We're going to keep doing it. Who the hell is a judge to tell the president of the United States? He pulled down, he said there's only male and female in this country. So he went and had all of the HHS websites change it to, male and female. All of a sudden you get a doctors group who decides to sue. And they said, you need to post our websites back up because it's doing irreparable harm in our ability to practice medicine. It's like, really? No, it isn't. If you want to practice that way, you can. You have all the documentation you need. It doesn't need to be up there. This is an ideological battle. So,
yeah, I will say though, as a general principle, I agree that the judges should have the moment to strike it down the moment the president does something that goes outside of the law.
Yeah.
That the judges themselves abuse the law, of course, then you need to come down hard against them. We've
100%.
seen this a couple of times.
100%, Andre.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's why I said, if they follow the law, I have no problem. Trump, whoever it is, they follow the law, cool. But when you're seeing some of these cases come out and you listen to the attorneys, obviously I'm not an attorney, they're like, this is so outside their realm. It's like they have no authority. That is what bothers me. And
completely.
Yeah, and I think now they're even looking for the first time to start impeaching. I think it's either been 80 years. God, I wish Mark of Reality was here. Such a great guy, brilliant mind. I think it's 80 years, 50 to 80 years, maybe a little bit longer since the last judge was actually impeached. I think if you impeach a few of these activist judges, it'll put an end to it. Then judges will have to, again, go by the law.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here today and being able to share Kayla's story. Her murderer was able to come across the border knowing
agree,
that
Will
he
Monkey.
was flagged as an MS-13 gang member, and he had a criminal record in 2020 in El Salvador for illicit gang activity. He came over as an unoccupied alien child, saying that he was afraid of gang activity in his country. Health and Human Services called him a nice boy, and he showed age-appropriate behavior. That fell so wrong when he murdered my daughter. He ended up in Maryland, where he was able to rent a room in the same mobile home as her. We thought it.
Mike, is that federal judge? I was talking about federal, or is that, if that's federal, yeah, thank God I was way off. Thank you for that, Mike. And War Monkey, I'm with you all the way.
It was a legit company that were renting out these rooms. But it turned out that it was another illegal immigrant who owned these mobile homes. And he knew Walter from El Salvador. He knew him and allowed him to rent a room with my child. Kayla just turned 20 years old 3 days before she was murdered. Her murderer was only living there for 5 days before he viciously strangled her, raped her, and left her on the floor like trash and robbed her of $6.
Horrible.
I have been sharing her story for over 2.5 years to bring change, because this should have not have ever happened to Kayla.
See, that's where she's right. I mean, we have bad people have been around since the dawn of time, Andre. You know, they've been around. They're always going to be around.
Oh, that's not unique to America. I mean, if you look around Europe, then yeah.
But the thing is to have it, it's like each country has their crime. To import it, something that's unavoidable, that's where it's
that's the issue, because every country strictly has enough criminals of its own. You do not need to import from elsewhere.
Yeah.
No need for that.
Horrible.
And it shouldn't be happening to other families being hurt by the border. Homeland Security did not do their jobs. They did not check his background. You know, they did say that he was processed. So if they processed him, they knew that he was a gang member and still allowed him here. Health and Human Services did not verify the sponsor and allowed him to go with a sponsor that they don't even know if it was his cousin or his aunt. And he was able to leave the sponsor's house to go live wherever he wanted. And I am going to continue sharing Kayla's story to help save others and to bring awareness of what was happening under the Biden-Harris administration. And I'm so thankful for Pam having me here today. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities I got from Trump and any other platform, you know, people who allowed me to share her story, because this is going to end. No other parent should suffer by having their child murdered by somebody that shouldn't be here. And I'm gonna continue, you know, sharing it, and for Kayla, you know, and also for others. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that he also admitted to other murders, correct? Multiple murders.
Unbelievable.
And it was intercepted in jail that he committed 4 murders and 2 rapes. And that's who we were letting walk into our country. And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike 1. Strike 2 is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York, where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
I like that. I like it. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. That's the way to go. You got to stop them in their tracks. And we got Jay Fraser, 360 for 5 pounds. Hail, Slayer Nation. Hail to you, Jay. DCU's Lanterns miniseries has cast Ulrich Thompson, Kai Proctor. Oh, I love that actor. Is phenomenal. Kai Proctor, who played Kai Proctor as Sinestro. What do you think about that, Tom Andre? I didn't know that. Thoughts on the show's casting? That guy can act.
Yeah, Ulrich Thompson is brilliant. It's funny, yeah, because again, he's in Banshee. I think that Mark Strong looks more like Sinestro, but still has a very, very inspired choice there. I mean, Denmark has produced some truly amazing actors, and I say that as a Norwegian. So that doesn't mean I'm particularly biased towards the Danish, but that's just reality. Loads of great talent coming in from there. I think, yeah, very inspired choice.
What do you think?
Inspired.
What do you think, Tom, about it? I think it was great in Banshee. Did you see Banshee?
No, I haven't, so I can't really speak to that. I'm trying to think of the actor.
Ulrich Thompson. If you see his face, you've seen him in several things. Hail, Doc Hierophant. Lord Thought is here. Benjamin Jansen, how you doing? Good to see you. We were just watching Pam Bondi. She was did a live press conference before we got a question from the chat about the Lantern series. By the way, what did everybody think real quick as Tom is looking up the actor? Because he'll remember him. Oh, you don't? Okay. No. Well, you should check him out. Watch Banshee. See if it's you will really love it. Kai, and the actor who plays Kai, oh my God. My God. Powerful.
Cannot praise Banshee highly enough.
Yeah, even the actress who was in it, I can't remember her name. The one who was opposite Homelander, like the one who's like 6 foot tall.
Yeah, his girlfriend, Midana. It's the one with the Gustavian name, right? The actress.
Yeah. Yep. And you also even had, and who was her father? The actor. He was in Chariots of Fire.
Yes, he was. He's also the father of. He was playing Sarek in the 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah, yes. Great actor. Great actor.
Amazing actor. Yeah, I don't remember their name, but all good. Even for full frontal nudity from that woman. So yeah.
Benjamin Jansen, member for 4 months. Hey, glad you're feeling better. Yeah, I'm feeling better as the bug is still around. That's because I've been working on this special project, and I should have rested, but I didn't. But thank you for that, my friend. Now, what does the chat think? Just send me your opinions. What did you think of what Pam Bondi was saying? Real quick. You think this is the way to go? You think they're taking the right tack? They're going after the states who are breaking the law. They're saying, look, we want to clean up the country. I mean, what do y'all think about it, Tom and Andre? She's it's like you have an administration that's trying to clean everything up, that's trying to deport the illegal aliens, that's trying to bring crime down, that's trying to protect families, and you have states and cities which are fighting against them.
Can I have this administration when you're done with them? We need them in Norway to clean up right here. That's what I think about them. I'm so glad to see the leaders of the Western world clean up their own crap. I just hope that they'll do as Elon Musk says, make Europe great again afterwards, forcibly, because we need help, because we're taken over by completely unelected officials like von Leyen and the heads of the European Parliament. Not a single person has voted them in. Not fucking one. Ever.
And did you see what? Who is the president? I always forget her name. I call her like Ursula von Dread.
Von Leyen, yes, Ursula von der Leyen. This is who I mean. Not one person has ever voted for this individual who is suddenly in charge of Europe.
How is that possible? Because Trump said one of the things.
Easy. The EU is not a democratic organization.
I know, but the EU citizens, they're not angry about this. They're like, we have people who are making our laws that we didn't elect.
They have no vote. We don't have any free press.
It's nuts because 2 weeks ago, she made a statement. It's like, as Europe, as the EU prepares for Trump and what he's going to do next, he was stating that he wants to end the Marshall Plan tariffs, because a lot of people didn't realize that the Marshall Plan, after we helping Europe rebuild after World War II, that many of the tariffs and the economic policies have been in place since 1946. And so the president had stated that we're going to remove all of these, we're going to level the playing field. And you know what her response was, Andre? She was like, we're not going to allow that.
Yeah, I can't stand that woman.
And I'm like, how are you going to stop us from doing it? He said, we're not going to allow that.
Yeah.
He's like,
I have never met a single European who pays attention to politics even slightly, who is a fan of the EU or the leadership, because we have never voted for them, any of us. They've elected themselves.
So I believe in MEGA, make Europe great again.
Yes, absolutely. We need to get rid of von Leyen and everyone like it. So we need to clean up on aisle Europe. To begin with aisle Norway. Absolutely. That's why I've been so keen to see America getting cleaned up, because we're going to need you guys to help us again, just like with World War II. Only this time the takeover is complete.
I hope so. I hope so. You saw yesterday, Keir Starmer in the United Kingdom announced his new, what's her name? It was a new secretary for something. That wasn't for health. It was, hold on, I'll tell you. The person that he appointed, I believe, was shadow secretary at one time for health. But she believes in, she wants to make all bathrooms gender neutral. She's like, gender shouldn't be involved with bathrooms. And at the same time, she turned around and said, I believe people can be llamas. That's one of her beliefs.
Oh, it's mighty progressive of her.
I know, it was nuts to hear. It was just crazy. Now, the other good news is that we have Disney, since we're talking about politics and it always intersects with Hollywood. Here we go. Starting in 2020, after the death of George Floyd, fueled and emboldened the woke Gestapo, classic Disney titles such as The Jungle Book, Peter Pan, The Aristocrats, Dumbo, and The Swiss Family Robinson were vandalized with labels looking to shame viewers who dared to enjoy them. The updated content warnings for other classic Disney animated and live-action titles like Swiss Family Robinson and Dumbo follow the studio consulting with a third-party advisory council. That includes groups like the African American Film Critics Association, Coalition of Asian Pacifics in Entertainment, and GLAAD, the far-left Hollywood Reporter reported at the time. This meant the viewers were told some variations of this pandering. This program, anyway, so the bottom line is that Disney, by what I understand in the article, they were now removing a lot of these trigger warnings.
Not exactly. See, and this is kind of misrepresenting of what's going on here. Okay, so prior to 2019, a lot of these films did have a trigger warning.
Okay.
Right. They've been around since like the mid-aughts, somewhere in there. Now, what happened was after that, they added in all sorts of the nonsense, right? Like piled it on, like, this movie contains outdated depictions of races and gender disequality, blah, 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 for 10 years, right? Basically making it sound like you're going to watch something that's going to corrupt the shit out of you and your children.
Okay.
So what they've done now, though, is there's still labels on them, but they've just taken them back to the pre-2019 labels.
How about removing the labels?
They're out of date. I wish. I'm with you, George, altogether, because to me, I think a label is a bad thing, because to me, it's just the first step to either editing something or making it illegal one way or the other. It's just a bad move and a bad
it's Orwellian. It's Orwellian.
And it makes it feel like there's something wrong with it, when it's like, no, it's up to the viewer, in my opinion, to have a historical perspective on these things. That's why you don't let a little kid watch a movie that's out of their league or out of their range to understand. You wait until they're old enough to say, look, yes, this movie is going to have a few words and things said in it that you probably wouldn't have heard before or know right now. But I'm going to explain to you why, because it was from an era that these things were said or prejudices were around. You know, like that's one thing for a parent to decide to do. It's not up to a movie studio to tell me as a viewer what I'm about to watch has something wrong with it. That's what bothers me.
I will say though that I would not be opposed to there being content warnings, but it needs to be on the right things. It needs to be on the progressive stuff that has been made in the last 10 years. That needs the content warning that the following program was political propaganda. It was funded by USAID and other organizations like that. It was meant to demoralize the populace, and we show it here, but be aware that it contains harmful depictions of all that stuff, right? You need that on content like Strange World, The Marvels, Thor, Love and Thunder. That's where you need the content warnings, because that stuff was propaganda.
And somebody brought up there's already ratings, and that's true, but some people would argue, well, some of those ratings are out of date, and that's the reason these warnings are there, because this actually goes back to the whole thing we were talking about with Crocodile Dundee.
Like, that's horrible. Come on, that's
in Australia. They're trying to change it. I know. Well, that's a whole nother conversation to be had on that part. But like the point I was going to get to is they've got a whole administration of people down there that want to go through and change the ratings of films every few years. And not only that, if there's things that need to be censored out of them, censor out of them. I'm afraid that we're going to get to that point here too. Right? Because that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of these labels leading to. Because that goes to what you're saying, George. You want to know why the knife is, that's not a knife, is out of there? As far as I understand, that was never in the UK cut or the Australia cut to begin with. And that's probably why. Because especially with all the knife violence they have in the UK now.
And like, grabbing the dude's balls, why would they remove that? It's a joke. That's the whole point of it. It's humor. It's showing, fish out of water. Anyway, I
agree with you wholeheartedly. In fact, like, this has been one of those things that I've talked about for a while now, and I feel like it's a bad move, and it's one of those times I got to agree with people like Whoopi Goldberg, of all people, who brought this up years ago. I don't know if she'd even remember she said this. She said flat out, to edit these things or to censor them or anything like that is to act like they never existed in the first place. And that's not what this is about. Art is art. It's there for a reason. It's stuck in time for a reason. Leave it alone. We get it. As a viewer, it's up to us to understand history and where shit comes from, and if there's certain things that may not be of today's standards. Well, yeah, we know that's why there's today and there's yesterday.
Well, right? Look at Chris Hayes. We talked about this on the phone before the show. The left, Hollywood, mainstream media, believe instead of actually listening to the election, instead of actually reflecting, instead of going, what did we do wrong? How did we lose the people? Retooling, going back to the drawing board, they're doubling down in a different way. Chris Hayes from MSNBC came up with a solution to the whole DEI problem. Not get rid of it, rename it. And he thinks that since diversity is now a bad word, what we should focus on, he goes, there is a message of what I would like, of what I would call like common sense, patriotic pluralism. They think Trump's magic is because he uses the word patriot. He's a populist. And so they're like, well, combine them. It won't be DEI, it'll be patriotic pluralism. And then he shot out a few others later. It'll be patriotic populism. And that would be their new word. That's his idea for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's like, why not just drop it? It's not working. People don't want it. And one of the ways we have that is that Park Place just released a report. I think we should read through this. It would be a good one. Hollywood celebrates gender equality in movies, but states we need even more representation as audiences tune out. They're saying Hollywood is patting itself on the back for achieving a so-called milestone in gender equality, as more than half of the top 100 movies in 2024 featured a female lead or co-lead. However, a closer look at the box office numbers tells a different story, one that suggests audiences are becoming increasingly disengaged from the industry's forced representation efforts. Despite more movies being released in 2024 than in 2023, the total box office declined. Before the pandemic, Hollywood was consistently pulling in over $11 billion per year. Now, post-2020, the industry struggles to break past $8.5 billion, with 2024's total box office revenue declining from 23. So they're celebrating the policies that they've put in place that has killed talent, executives who don't know storytelling, so they don't hire storytellers, actors who are soapbox activists. They're losing money hand over fist, but they want to celebrate.
Well, the money you're seeing here, that's the difference, is that's the height of superhero movies to now. That's what's happened. That amount of money right there. That's it.
So are you saying that all that cash, all the money they were bringing was just because of the superhero flicks?
Mostly, yes.
Before that?
Because this also is the same kind of report that came out like a couple, weeks ago, Andre, I think it was, where I had pointed out, like, because the height of the box office was in 2019. What came out in 2019?
Avengers Endgame.
Exactly. So if you go by from 2008 to 2019, there was this jump every year of a couple billion bucks, to the point where basically it was this height, and then the same amount that we gained in those years went down to where we're at right now in like half the time. Why? Because of the comic book superhero crash. But what caused that? Mainly the DEI bullshit. Because people can't trust to go see movies, or they want to go see a movie like Iron Man, and they can't anymore because they don't have that. We're stuck with whatever they shoved down our throats. And that's why I don't think this weekend that many people are going to rush out to see Captain America either, for the very same reason. And then because of that, they have brought on superhero fatigue earlier than they could have, because they could have rode this out for another decade. I've brought that up before too. All you have to do is just keep pumping out Iron Man movies and Spider-Man movies, right?
Right. I don't think there is superhero fatigue. I think there's fatigue from bad shit. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nah, we've had an oversaturation in the last few years between all the TV shows,
the TV,
and the movies, because like that's part of the problem, right? The oversaturation isn't even just so much like a fatigue side of it. It's the fact that we talked about this morning.
But if it was great, wouldn't you love it though? If it was great.
Oh yeah, like I said, if they had just stayed within the lines, they could still ride this out for another 5 to 10 years. That was my point. But they have boxed themselves in, not only through the DEI bullshit, but on the other side of this, and this is where we were talking about part of the problem with Captain America Brave New World is, the problem with Captain America Brave New World is it doesn't exist because somebody said, you know what? I got a really cool idea to have Captain America face off against the Red Hulk. No, it exists because they needed a bridge to get us from one point to another point. And that's what all the Marvel universe is now. It's just a bunch of homework and bridges to get you from one Avengers movie to the next. Right. It's not fun anymore. It's not, I'm going to see the next Iron Man movie, or I'm going to see the next Captain America movie. Now, as Andre will point out, you know, he went to see the sequel to Captain Falcon and somewhat the Eternals and a bunch of other shit that he needed to do for homework that he didn't do.
I never saw the series, the Falcon series.
Neither did he. And that's the problem.
And you can totally tell you will be a little, I'm not going to, like, you can figure it out,
right,
but it'll be very obvious. Oh, you missed something here. It'll be very obvious.
I saw somebody in the trailer that I've never seen in any of the Avengers movies. Some guy with like a Falcon looking outfit wearing green.
That's the new Falcon.
Yeah.
So that's the Hispanic Falcon.
Yes.
That's Falcon.
Falcon, you're right. And so he was in the TV series. So how are normies who only go to movies?
Well, maybe he isn't. Well, the biggest.
I think he was introduced in the series.
Yeah, the bigger issue is the first Captain America.
Is he in this?
Yes.
Really?
And he was set up. No. When I say the first Captain America, I do not mean Steve Rogers. No, he was the first, the guy that they tested the superhero soldier on, the black guy who wasn't good enough to be an actual Captain America, but who was good enough to be a guinea pig, and who they locked up in jail for 30 years because he was black. And so he can have a massive chip on his shoulder. And there's a reason why everyone needs to do better.
Unbelievable.
So
Carlo Esposito's character?
No, that's not him. That's completely different. He was.
I didn't know there was. I thought Steve Rogers was the first. I didn't even know there was another one.
Oh no, they Doctor Who'd it, and they retroactively made it. So of course you have to make the superheroes.
And of course they made us racist in the process, right?
Of course they did. Of course, because why not? I mean, like.
Because they had to take that beautiful story that was, and this is another thing, I thought about this in between, Andre. They had to take that beautiful story that was Captain America and turn it into that. Because really, so that's built on the basis of that they were able to give it to Steve Rogers guilt-free because they already tested it on some black guinea pig.
Yes.
Right? So that it was horse. I hope that doctor wasn't involved with that test. At least I don't know if they.
I didn't see the series. I don't know.
I don't know either because that's my problem if that's the case. Because then that takes all that's a punch to the gut for me. Because
he was a Yahtzee, wasn't he?
He was, but at the point is he turned against them because he knew it was wrong. But like I brought this up to you is when we were talking about the last couple of videos was like the big difference between Falcon and Steve Rogers is especially with the super serum part was like he picked Steve Rogers because he specifically knew that he would appreciate and understand what having that power meant. Because if he gave it to another jarhead, then that person would just become a bigger bully.
Okay,
right?
Here's my question, though. This is what I don't get. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just popped in my head. How in the world, as we tie this up, how could Anthony Mackie's Cap stand up against the Hulk when he doesn't have super soldier serum? Like the Hulk would just fling him.
Movie that he doesn't have the serum and how he regrets not taking it.
Right, but then he should be squashed by the Hulk. There's no way he could stand up to him. That doesn't make any.
This is true.
Like, did they explain how that he stood up to him?
He's got a vibranium suit, right?
No. This is a very weak Hulk, though, compared to the Green Hulk. I mean, the Green Hulk would flatten the Red Hulk in like 2 seconds.
Okay, but it's still a strong Hulk, correct? Like, it's not like a man. It's not a normal man, meaning like he's got super strength.
Yeah, he has super strength.
Okay, see all of that. It just sounds like shit. Anyway, then we also had Richard Gere. Then we had Richard Gere who thought he would throw his 2 cents in to attack the president.
And I'm in shock.
Because you got that gerbil up your ass still.
Yeah, he does.
Spoke and
you hear it in the pitch in his voice.
And that's a fact. But I don't even think the people who elected him really believed that he was going to do what he said he was going to do. And what
this sounds like my dad.
Than what he even said. The dark profundity of what he's been doing in the last week is mind-boggling. That he would be shutting down PEPFAR, which is
that's why he has the highest approval rating
especially
ever.
on HIV.
I know, 70% in some places.
Tens of millions of lives. This is dark.
Well, to be fair, that 70% is people who agree that he's doing what he promised to do. Right. 55% is the number of people who agree with that. Yeah, this is awesome, and that's
it's still going up. I like it, and it's still going up. Could you imagine? We have politicians our entire lives who campaign saying one thing and then do another. So you get somebody who campaigns on one thing and actually carries through, and people are pissed in the media, in Hollywood, the celebrities. You're like, he told you exactly what he was going to do.
And I think it's a time for everyone to stand up. I was reading an article by someone, a Hungarian, who watched things change so radically under Orban. And he said, America better be vigilant because we didn't know how fast this would happen in Hungary. And I can see this happening very quickly now. We have this incredibly dark marriage of power and money like we've never seen.
I do believe Orban is relatively popular among his people.
Oh my God, they love him. See, that's one thing that's why I like doing these shows. People do not realize how entrenched USAID was in color revolutions around the world. Samantha Power was going around for the last 4 years, attacking Orban, trying to destabilize Hungary and many other nations. You understand Hungary, right? They elected their leaders. These are the people we want. This is the country we want. We want to hold on to our traditions. We believe in a nuclear family. We love being Hungarian. He comes in there, same thing with Romania. Romania elected a president, then Samantha Power sends her group. They go to a judge, and the judge says, you know what? I'm throwing this election out because of the fact that it was influenced too much by TikTok and Instagram, and it was too one-sided. The people didn't really get an honest assessment. So they're reholding the election. It's like, they're going to keep trying these things. USAID was like a slush fund for the spooks. It was a slush fund for every leftist, every academia.
But that's pure democracy, isn't it? Like, it's like, no, you stupid people, you have to do this again until you get it right.
I know.
In Europe.
And Orban is like, you mean I'm doing what my people want because he sealed his borders? He's like, cool, you want to come in, you want to be Hungarian, you have to go through the process. You want to come to the country? Here it is. It's just following the law. My people want XYZ. XYZ was delivered. America wants ABC. Trump's like, I'm going to give you ABC. It's not a difficult concept, but the problem is that it interferes with everybody making money. You heard Musk last night. He was saying, like, we're going to be investigating how some of these people in these different organizations in the government, in the federal government, in the bureaucracy, are making, $200,000 to $300,000 a year salaries, $100,000 a year salaries, but somehow they are worth millions. And he says, now maybe they are like great. They have some great investment strategy, and if they do, we hope they'd please share it with all of us. Or something else is amiss. Like, he goes, how do several people who are earning 150 grand a year for 4 years end up being worth 15 million, being worth 8 million, being worth 10 million? It's like, where's it coming from? It's insanity. He said they found that there were Social Security checks going out to 150-year-olds. He's like, does anybody know a 150-year-old? He's like, because if it is, please, let's announce to the world, what are they doing? And they're angry about that, Andre.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm sure they're very angry. They're very upset.
And you see, how they always try to blame the right, where they say the right is violent, the right are fascist, the right are thugs. This man who's supposed to be a quote unquote man of peace, a man of the cloth, a man of God. This is what he said yesterday.
And in this nation, I'm worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed. This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go, and we will not go. Therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence.
Why would Elon?
Sometimes the devil.
This is why my dad is freaking out right now.
How is he stealing it? The world's richest man needs your Social Security. I mean, like, seriously, it's like not. I don't understand it. It's not believable. Like, the richest man in the world wants to steal somebody. So, like, put the logic together. Why?
I'll take you things that didn't happen for 500.
Right? No, it's like, yeah, I've got $300 billion. My company is, I want to be the world's first trillionaire, but I need some Social Security. No, he's auditing it. It's called an audit to make sure that everybody is getting, and Social Security, their fair share. Imagine if they uncover, Musk had talked about this and Trump had talked about this during the campaign. Imagine if they uncovered there's $200 to $300 billion a year and just in Social Security being ripped off, right? He was like, you take that money. He goes, maybe we can raise benefits for people. Like, you never know what you can do with it. Apply it to infrastructure, apply it to society, apply it to a city, anything. Just bring down the debt so we don't go bankrupt. But this man of peace is preaching violence. Then he goes further and just listen.
Will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force.
I don't
the kingdom of God is a war zone. It is.
I don't think he actually understood what the Bible was saying there. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the lies. I agree. Someone said in the chat, get rid of the tax exemptions for churches. 100%. Yeah. That was horrible. Horrible. And then you have on the good news front.
Well, that at least would be something that normally would get the Dems on your side, actually.
But a lot of things that would get, come on, waste, fraud, and abuse, corruption used to be a key Democratic talking point in the 80s and 90s.
It doesn't matter as long as Trump's doing it, George.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. No, can't expose it then.
Exactly. But see, this is where they're falling on their back foot. This could have been their moment to pivot and go, we fully support what they're doing. 100%. We want to root it out because that's stealing money from people. That's it. That one statement.
No, they want to shoot the messenger.
Right, but what they're doing in the process is shooting themselves. That's where I don't understand. Where is the strategist tell them? Do you understand you're digging the hole deeper? The populace love it. The people love it when you expose rotten crime in the government, corruption, and you're saying you're for it. You're just masking all the words. It's insanity. And then you had Secretary Kristi Noem today. I've clawed back the full, Sassy sent this to me. So Sassy, if you're here, bless you. Thank you for it. I have clawed back the full payment that FEMA, deep state activists, unilaterally gave to New York City migrant hotels. FEMA was funding the Roosevelt Hotel that serves as a Tren de Aragua base of operations and was used to house Lincoln Riley's killer. Mark my words, there will not be a single penny spent that goes against the interests and safety of the American people. I think it was around $50 to $52 million. By the way, the Roosevelt Hotel, when I did research on this, do you know it's owned by Pakistan?
That's news to me.
Let me show you. I know, I was shocked. The deals that Chuck Schumer helped cut, the money goes to the Roosevelt Hotel, correct? And it's owned by Pakistan. Hold on. Yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, here we go again. Yep, here it is. There we go. Roll. Hold on, make it bigger. With over 1,200 rooms, the hotel remains a significant part of New York's hotel scene. In 2000, it was fully acquired by PIA, the national airline of Pakistan, which now owns the property. But when you go look up the PIA, the government owns it. So the money basically goes from taxpayers to slush fund to FEMA to a hotel to a Pakistani airline to the Pakistani government. It's like an organized crime syndicate. All right, Andre, no problem. Thank you very much for showing up. We're going to probably wrap this up in a few minutes, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming by. What do you think of that real quick? Isn't that weird how they send the money to the hotel, but the hotel is owned in the end by a government?
I'm not surprised at all at anything at this point. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much crap. I'm so glad that this is all getting exposed. And I'm just like thinking, Elon, please do Norway next, because there's so much exposed here. Do the rest of Europe as well. Expose everything, tear it all down, rebuild it the right way.
But he needs a lot of security. You see all the leftists going crazy, how many times they've threatened his life. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Well, thank you, Andre, for coming. I appreciate it, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you on. I will try to make it this week.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, Alex, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I didn't know they were double the normal rates, JD and Big Balls. I didn't know that. Wow. So we had Kristi Noem, and then we had another piece of good news. The First Lady put this out today. The White House, Office of the First Lady Melania Trump announced today that the White House will officially open for public tours on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. So they're going back to doing public tours because they haven't had them in years. I think that's pretty good.
Interesting.
I think the public should be able to go back. And then we had this other piece of news. I mean, we're living in such exciting times. I do believe it's a new golden age, and there are just some people who want to hang on to the past. I will tell you, Tom, sometimes what I find difficult is just like, are there people who really believe that Musk wants to take their Social Security checks, like literally?
Yes, my dad is one of them.
Not literally,
or whatever it is that he thinks there's some nefarious reason behind all this, and I try to explain. It's like, look, it's the mainstream media, dude. It's got to be because.
But if you told him, Dad, he's the richest man in the world, he doesn't want you.
He won't listen to me. He just screams the constant shit that all the other fucking wokey-wokes do, which is hilarious because I never would have thought my dad would be one of these people. But it's just like he'll just sit there and start screaming, "Oh, Trump wants to be a dictator. He wants to be a dictator. Elon Musk ain't even American." And blah blah blah. It's just.
Well, what happens when he gets this? What happens when because Trump said one of the things he wants to do in the first piece of legislation is remove the taxes on Social Security. He's going to be happy about that. He'll see.
He don't hear about it probably. That's the problem. That's what I'm getting to. The news will never tell you anything good Trump has done. Right. They only tell you the bad version of it. And that's what my dad's hearing. He won't. He will only watch the mainstream fucking media for some reason, and he won't listen to me, and there's nothing I can do. So the answer to the question is yes, there are plenty of people out there who only believe this shit for some fucking reason. Whether it's their own bias, their own whatever. I just they were raised on the fact that you can't question the news. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, you have a great day. You have a great name, JD. I like that. JD and Big Balls 2028. That's an awesome name. And then this just broke.
So clarifying that the government can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially, yes, the government can do so in complying with regulations, and then that the previous order does not bar both the president and much of the federal government from exercising their own lawful authorities to withhold funding without the prior approval of the district court, meaning, again, they can disperse the monies that they were allocated within the law, within the confines of the law, and that the government does not have to seek pre-clearance from the courts on terminating funding as long as they have the authority to do it, as governed by the applicable statutory regulatory.
Basically, the president can do what he was doing before without the fucking judge interfering, bottom line. And it seems that, where did it go? I had it. It was beautiful. You heard about how Elon changed his name, his moniker, Tom?
In what way? No, I don't think I did.
Oh, yeah.
The Doge thing? Or
oh, no, you're going to love this. I won't spoil it for you. Wait to hear it.
I think he just yeeted himself, so it's the Tom show now. Great. Nobody wants this.
I got knocked out.
Oh, thank God you're back.
That was the weirdest thing that happened. It knocked me the hell out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. You just disappeared.
Yeah. Here it is.
Now, the disruptor in chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Hairy Balls, tweeted this morning, democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial.
Come on, Tom, you got to like that one. Tom, are you there?
I'm a big fan of Hairy Balls. I mean, wait, that didn't come out right.
That did not come out the way you think it did. No, but he got them to say it. That's what's funny. Musk was laughing because he's like, I got them to say the name on TV. But you hear what they keep doing. She's like the disruptor in chief, the co-president, the president, the real president. They're trying to somehow, create this divide between Musk.
Like, do they really think, first of all, that Trump is going to be somebody who's going to let somebody like Elon Musk tell him what to do? He will have him advise him.
Yeah.
But you're not going to tell him what to do.
No, that's why.
And you think any of these folks are going to get me to believe that Trump is going to listen to anybody? But really? I mean, yes, he trusts people. He has his advisors, but he's a man of his own mind, right? Like he has his own opinions. When he makes a decision, he goes with it, and it's not always with what everybody else thinks it's going to be. So, or what certain other people say. So that's part of the reason he kind of won me over, was like, you know what? I don't agree with everything he says all the time or everything he does, but
who agrees
so
with
far
anyone?
he's been showing me what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And then you had Benny Johnson broke this. Senior DHS official has confirmed that FEMA's chief financial officer, Mary Comans, was fired for illegally funding migrant luxury hotels in NYC against the orders of President Trump. She continued, this woman right here was in charge of the money after President Trump put out the order to stop. She kept paying. That's what Kristi Noem today clawed back all that money. Now they're going to go charge her. This is the problem.
These idiots want to go against, every one of these dumb fuckers who's like, I'm going to provide sanctuary for them. Fuck them. You do that, and there's somebody there who's illegal, and you're busted along with them then. That's your own dumb ass.
You know why? I don't know if it was Marco Rubio, somebody else said it, which, by the way, Marco Rubio, I could never stand him. I'm still not sure about him because I've always considered him to be a rhino supreme. But unless he had a come to Jesus talk or Trump talk to him, or he saw his future was only through Trump, he's like a changed man ever since he's been Secretary of State. So he was explaining, again, I shared a piece of this last week, but he's been doing more interviews, that a lot of these organizations, the organizations within a department, like the State Department, like USAID, he says these bureaucrats have been running these organizations inside official departments for so long, they actually believe that they're autonomous, like they can do whatever they want, literally spend the money how they want.
And that's what I love about Trump and these guys, is they are showing off that, yes, they work for us, the American people. And my dad is like so all up in and I don't mean to keep dragging my dad into this, but I just use him as an example of the type of person that we talk about when we're talking about those who have just that cognitive dissonance, who doesn't matter what you say to them, what you present them with, they're never going to turn their head the other way and think that maybe they could be wrong or that they're being lied to. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the state we're in right now. And I'm just glad that it's finally all being uncovered. And we got people out there that are blowing whistles and showing us what's going on here. And we're learning all of the shit that went down the last 4 years. And I love the meme. They talk about memes that Elon put out. He put out the Simpsons movie meme where it's like, this is the worst thing the Democrats have ever done. And then it had Homer go, this is the worst thing the I can't remember how it was first termed, that we've uncovered that the Democrats have ever done. And then, of course, Homer says, this is the worst thing that we've uncovered that the Democrats have ever done so far.
So far. The problem is it's also the rhinos. They've been complicit on this the entire time.
Of course. They couldn't have been any other way.
No way.
And this is what I was trying to tell people like my dad from the start. This is why I like Trump. And one of the first things that turned me towards Trump before the assassination attempt, before some of the other things, because I knew the news was never giving him a fair shake. But it was when I started seeing Republicans themselves come out and saying, look, we can't have this guy in government and blah, blah, blah. He's this, that, and the other. It's like, wait a minute, hold up, time out. He's your own side. Like, so do you really mean that? Or are you playing in with these other folks? Because it's one or the other. Because I've gotten to the point where it was like, okay, they have literally thrown everything they can throw at this guy.
Nothing else.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything. There has not been one stone that has not been turned over in this guy's life. So I'm sitting here going, this motherfucker must be pretty goddamn clean. Like if the worst thing he ever did was pay off a fucking porn actress.
Right.
Like, I mean, come on. I don't believe half of the allegations otherwise. Cause like I said to my parents yesterday, I'm like, do you think because my dad's, he's a felon. He's this, he's that. He's like, he's not, he's like he's not even a convicted anything really.
If he was a felon, they would have locked him up. You know that because
and I'm like, I don't believe he did anything with that one chick that claims any of that shit.
Well,
like
the Bergdorf Goodman, the finger. Yeah, no, come on.
Because first of all, these people don't even understand. It's like for us to even believe that, you have to believe that Trump would stoop to that level. This is Donald fucking Trump.
He could have. Remember at the time that she was saying it specifically. I think it was 20. You're talking about the guy who could have back then. He was with starlets, celebrities, actors. Come on, models. You're gonna be like, nut girl? No. And then you had this come across. A Michigan lawmaker has sterilized herself to avoid becoming pregnant.
This is hilarious.
I'm like, what? I mean, that's TDS too.
Good. Wow. Go for it. I mean, there was that one chick on Bill Maher who said, like, some of these people don't see the idiocy because they're just playing right into the Republicans' hands. It's like, you don't want to have sex because Trump's president? You're just doing exactly what you want them to do. They don't want you to have premarital sex. Like in this case, I'm sure most of them wouldn't want her to procreate.
I know. It's nuts.
In fact, I don't see anybody fighting to procreate with her.
No. But the fact is that she sterilized herself. She didn't just say she didn't have sex. It's just.
No, I know. If you want to go to that extreme, take yourself out of the fucking gene pool then. That's real bright.
Mexican Iron Man, our intrepid producer, who I miss a lot, for $5 to hold Trump guilty for paying off a woman where things didn't work out is not something Mexican Iron Man can stand for. Ask me why. Oh, I'm asking you why. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man.
I'm not gonna get into that one.
I like it.
But you know, this chick doing that, you know what it reminds me of? Now, you've seen the movie Idiocracy, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
The beginning of Idiocracy. That's what it reminds me of.
I remember, what was that show he was watching when the other guy crashed into his room and was kicking my balls?
Watching Ouch My Balls.
Ouch My Balls.
This guy broke my house.
I was like, wow. And then we're living it. Mr. Burger. I always love seeing Mr. Burger here. Man is talented for $5. 100% right. No matter what you say, libs got to be libs. Starting next week, watch Quiz Time with Mr. Burger right after the Giant Slayer. Hell yeah.
Hey, Mr. Burger.
Hell yeah. Mr. Burger's a man. And then we got this funny thing popped up. I don't know if you've seen this. It's hilarious.
Okay, people, we've discovered some incredible abuses of the budget. I mean, really, where are you getting off with these insane expenditures? $10 million spent on body positivity for Haitians in captivity, $8 million on glitter bombs for Saudi Arabian imams, and $9 million on chocolate fondue for East Ukrainian Hebrews.
They have just as much a right to chocolate fondue as anyone, you Nazi!
Well, I'm sorry, but it has to be cut.
No! If you cut $10 million from the CFEUH budget, what's next? Cutting our $3 million budget to give free McFlurries to Pakistani furries?
Well, now that you bring it up.
Oh, come on!
Oh, wow. That's yeah, no, we're definitely cutting that.
This is insanity. You're letting our budget get cut by literal babies.
Because even an infant can balance these books better than you. I mean, come on, people. Come on. 50 million taxpayer dollars for Kool-Aid water fountains for North Korean accountants. Abortion on demand for pandas in Japan. 1,000 packs of Smarties for Iraqi slumber parties.
If you touch any of the Iraqi slumber party budgets, I will shoot you myself.
I'm sorry, but it has to go.
This is clearly a slippery slope to canceling our program to destigmatize marijuana for Latinx folks in Uganda.
Your budget for that is $9 million, and frankly, I think you can do it for $8 million.
You genocidal freak!
You also definitely need to cut.
Please not. Saucy male dancers for Australians with colon cancer. No!
Yes, well, we're at it. We're going to trim.
That's the beauty of this
Zodiac
shit.
for a more gender fluid.
What?
That's the beauty of this shit is even if let's say hypothetically, like we see these expenditures and they're just insane. So it's like, even if you can't believe it's necessarily for the thing it said, then it's like, okay, so who's embezzling what then? Because at this point, it's either for this crazy out of this world insane thing at this point. Like they're not even hiding it behind hammers and toilet seats anymore.
Oh, like they
You know
used
what I
to
mean?
in
Like-
the 80s. It's like, yes, we paid $25,000 for a hammer in the military. Like,
$80,000 for a toilet seat. Yeah.
Jesus, does it wipe your ass?
No. See, now they're just making up crazy fucking shit. Like
It is. It's like we need $50 million for Martians in Cape-Town.
Fluid Iraq, a high-speed train for hermaphrodites in Ukraine, welfare benefits for Aboriginal feminists, and the $12 million you're spending on sex changes for polar bears. This just says sex changes for polar bears. It doesn't even rhyme.
It didn't need to rhyme. It was important enough and it didn't need to rhyme.
The only program left in my department is $12 million to buy IUDs for corgis in Belize.
Yeah, we're going to reduce that. And one more thing. I really think we need to be spending at most half as much as we currently are on easy bake ovens for Saudi Arabian covens.
I don't want to live. I don't want to live. I don't want to live.
Don't do it. You have so much to live for.
Like what?
If it's promoting alternative fuels to Afghani polycules, I have bad news for you. Oh, and lastly, we cut all funding for free handgun ammunition for all USAID positions.
That's hilarious. But it's true. That's what's so funny and sad about it. You had something you were going to share, Tom. I saw it and then it disappeared. What was it?
Oh, it was just that beginning of Idiocracy, where the one couple's like, now is not the time to have children, and then you got the other guy who's just popping kids out left and right. Like that was, I was just going to comment on the thing you said about the chick sterilizing herself. It's like that's what it reminded me of, was the opening bit of Idiocracy of the one family just procreates left and right and knocking up every girl in town, but then the other people are just like, well, we're not quite ready yet to this economy, and then what's his face dies, and it's just
Idiocracy though became real for us.
It did. That was the whole point I was going to make. Yeah, so it was just the scene. That's all it was. You'd ended up having to cut it out later anyway. So
no worries. Eric K is here, the king of the mods. Are you okay? Hold on. I think I read something out. Wait a minute. He gifted 5 Georgia Giant Slayer memberships. Bless you, my good friend. But wait, what happened? You had a tire? Oh, shit. I'm sorry, Eric. Everything in the rain. He had to change a tire in the rain. Well, I'm glad everything is okay and you're all right. But thank you for being here, brother. Thank you, Eric K. Please, everybody go thank Eric K. Always a gentleman. And he loves Slayer Nation. He's with us from day one. Now, where was the other thing I wanted to share with y'all? Oh, of course. Of course. This one has to... Oh, this is a funny one from Brandon Straka. It's funny because it's true. And not because I'm feeling blue by a bug. No, I'm getting the tunes rhyme stuck in my head. There we go.
What does this sign mean to you?
You know, Black women are probably the least respected in America. Their voices aren't heard. Their issues aren't paid attention to. Many white women look beyond their own personal interests and they leave Black women out of the conversation. And I think America needs to change about that.
What are we not trusting them to do right now?
How to care for our country, how to care for each other, how to stand up and fight for things that aren't right.
Millions of Black women voted for Trump. Should we trust them?
I'll take your hand in mine.
And this is why most of them just resort to screaming.
I know, but that's why I love the way he kind of set her up. He let her talk, and then he hits her. Well, according to you, of course, you should trust them.
I think that's true. Millions of Black women voted for Trump.
Way too many. It is.
Should we trust them?
I don't know.
Maybe not trust black women then.
That's not true. I do trust black women.
Who'd vote for Kamala Harris?
I think. He wants to know if I trust the black women who voted for Trump.
I think they voted against their own interests, so it's really hard to put the idea of trust together with someone who is continuing to vote against themselves, right?
So it sounds like they don't have very good judgment.
Do you notice something, Tom? Are you noticing what I'm noticing? In the background?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to the background so much as I was listening to her. Sorry, what was in the background?
Well, look at everybody he's talking to, right? And they're talking about how they support the black community, how they support black women, how they're...
Oh, there's no black people there?
There you go. So who are the most wokey of woke?
Oh, it's always white women. Always. And not only that, it's usually what you would consider close to middle or upper middle class, because there is no middle class anymore. So it's mostly upperish class. White women who have nothing better to do, generally with either no kids or kids that are grown or never had a husband or kids. That's generally the...
But they probably had chia pets.
Plenty of cats.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's not having good judgment. I don't think they necessarily connect.
He screwed them because they start out with saying, trust black women. And then he's like, well, what about the black women who voted for Trump? And then they just don't know what to do because he's like, so obviously they don't have good judgment. He's like, no, they have good judgment, but it's not. But so you don't trust them. So you do trust them. They're
the dots, and I do.
They're stupid.
No, they're not stupid, but I think it's.
No, I'm just asking but it is hard to trust people who are stupid and have bad judgment, right? And black women who vote for Trump are stupid and have bad judgment.
No, we did not say that. Nope.
I think they don't connect. They don't connect the dots, and so they're looking at only certain things and thinking that's important, and not connecting the dots.
It sounds like those black women need to be educated by white women like you.
Yeah, not
true. Not.
They just need a good white woman to come in and tell them what's up.
You're putting words in our mouths again, and you're trading it.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
This idea that white people are going to be the white saviors pisses me off.
But if white women like you don't educate them, how are they ever going to learn to vote the way that they're supposed to vote?
As a white woman, I'm happy to help educate and talk to people, but it's not my job to go convince somebody else.
I hope you're.
She keeps contradicting herself.
And then what the hell is she doing out here right now?
I know, but she's like, I don't believe in the white savior.
That's where he should have been. So why are you out here protesting today?
I know. But so then he's like, so you can go educate them. Well, yeah, I will go educate them, even though it's not my job to educate them. And I don't really have, but I will educate them. But, so you don't trust them. Well, no, I didn't say that. You put words in my mouth. So you do trust the black women who voted for Trump. Well, no, I just think they're getting wrong. So they have bad judgment. I never said they had bad judgment. Then why did they vote for Trump? Well, I think they're not connecting the dots. So they do have bad judgment. No, so they're stupid. No, I didn't say that. Well, what the fuck are you saying?
Because it's the first time in history you're not allowed to vote in your own interest, right? Because if you do something that's and it's this fucking victimhood game, and you're right. And I love watching people dance around it, and I love watching people like that actually just hit them with hard facts, because I wish I could do that with some people, but unfortunately, a lot of people I deal with just scream and holler, and they don't want to hear anything you're saying. They don't want to let you finish any of your points. And even if you try to present them with any evidence, they don't even want to look at it. So yeah, and I love seeing people get twisted up like that, but usually you got to have people in a position where they know they're going to, other people are watching, like, because they're in front of a camera. Because
Right.
can you imagine if that camera was off and that microphone was away and that guy come up and said those things to those women? Do you think that's the way they'd be acting? Do you think that's the way they'd be talking to him?
No.
Fuck no. They would turn into the Karen bitches in a second.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
They'd be flying off the handle going, "You're a racist, misogynist pig, and why are you here?" And blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't even get a chance to ask any of those fucking questions. And that's my point. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool to be able to see that, but unfortunately it's not that simple in your day-to-day life. I wish it were. I really wish it were.
I know it's, one of the hardest things I think it is for people is, I've discovered this over the course of my life, is one of the biggest challenges that people face is ego, literally pride, is admitting because the first step to solving any problem is to name the problem, correct? But that takes a certain amount of strength, a certain amount of confidence and belief in oneself to go, okay, I was wrong. Something about what I thought, what I said, the action I took was wrong. But that actually takes strength, because when you admit that, then when you're talking to people and it comes time, they're going to say, oh, it's like me. I've said it multiple times over the last 3 years. I still feel guilty for voting for George Bush at the time. I got suckered in. I was an adult. I made the decision. Until this day, there's nothing more that I regret, because I bought into the bullshit. I let my mind and my critical thinking ability.
I think just about everybody did, dude. Like,
Right,
and that's the thing.
but see, I have people that I know who, when they were drunk, told me that, right?
Mhm.
Weren't drunk. They said, I never said that. I still think he's the greatest person ever. I'm like, in Greece, we say that you can always get the truth from drunks, babies, and crazy people. Like, they'll tell you what they're feeling.
Well, and I don't even think I think it's very patriotic, and I think it's very healthy to be able to speak freely, and not only that, hold former presidents to a certain standard, right? Like, look, I'm glad that there's a lot of people that can look back and go, look, Obama wasn't everything we were sold,
Right.
right? And I'll say equally to the same people who can say, look, George Bush was not what we were sold. He lied to us, right? Dude was practically a war criminal when you stop and think about it at the end of the day. So what else is wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. Guess what? Republicans made some mistakes. So did the Democrats. We've had plenty of leaders make a lot of fucking different mistakes. You know, JFK wasn't perfect, right?
No, I know that, but I feel horrible
they-
for the Bush thing. That eats me up.
Well, and I get that, and it will. But you know what? You didn't know. We didn't know.
Yeah,
Until-
but as soon as when I started to figure it out, that's when I started digging in more into politics, because I've always
Right.
been a history buff. And that's when I started seeing, it's like the scales dropped off, and I saw the Uniparty for the first time. It was Obama's first term, and I began noticing that a lot of the policies he was putting out were the same things that Bush had put out or proposed, but with different names.
Well, yeah, that's
And I
where
was like,
the South Park episode nailed it. Yeah.
I was like, this is the same crap.
Mhm.
Anyway, speed.
No, and I had a point to the end of that,
Yeah.
though, is the difference here is we saw Trump. We had 4 years of Trump.
Yep.
And then we had 4 years of Biden. And we haven't had that in a long time, where we had somebody come back and run again. And I don't think that anybody else in the history would have ever had the chance that Trump did, other than the fact that I looked back at the years that when Trump was in presidency and all the shit they threw at him. And that was the point I was getting to earlier. And not only that, I remember that my entire life, that's the most money I ever had. That was the most stable I ever was, up until COVID and everything hit the shit, shit hit the fan. It was the best I'd ever had anything in my entire life. Right. So I can look back on that and know that at that time I was happy with the way things were. Even if I wasn't happy at that time personally with Trump being the president, I come around to realizing, oh shit, I was wrong at that time, because things were so much better than they were prior to that. They were so much better than they are now. Right. And that's the in hindsight, we can look back on that. And I think that now, seeing the way Trump has taken this second term, I'm glad that he's done what he's done so far. And I think you are too. And most people that are, that did vote for him do feel that way. So we're going to have to expect the equal opposite reaction from the other side on certain parties. But we also have some folks that are finally coming around and realizing, look, we lost the general vote, right? Like, not just, it
wasn't an electoral college. He got a mandate. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
No, like Michael Rappaport, Bill Maher, all these guys were at least smart enough to go, look, you guys got too wrapped up in gender politics and calling everybody fucking racists, when everybody else was more worried about how they were going to feed their kids and put gas in their car.
It's simple. It's like democracy dies in darkness. Lost to my grocery bills just doubled. America last, lost to America first. California saved the smelt, lost to what? We need fucking water to put out fires. These are simple. That's why in many ways I expected, maybe I was being too hopeful, too optimistic. I expected more people left of the aisle to come on board, because they suffered during the Biden years. I mean, it was not a hidden fact. when you had eggs reaching the price they did, when you gas the way it did, the quality of life, it's just shocking. Skis Spivak for $5 Canadian just tuned in. The news just keeps getting more unbelievable. Women sterilizing herself because Trump. Really? Yeah. Skis. I'm with you there, brother. It's we saw, what was the one comedian's name who held up the phony head of Trump who got
Griffith.
Yeah, she came out 2 days ago, right after that Massachusetts rep came out and said she sterilized herself. And she went on a talk show, and Griffith said the same
Why
thing.
did she look in the mirror?
Yeah, Griffith said all women basically should not have any children during the Trump year. So stop having babies.
Go for it, liberal women. Yes, like we were saying just a little bit ago about the sterilization thing. Completely remove yourself from the gene pool and see what happens.
Of course, Bob. Of course, Bob the Lobster's right. They can always. There's Bonnie Blue and everybody else. I wouldn't want to touch that, but
there's plenty. Here's the thing that they don't realize, and we've said this before, and they can try to say whatever they want, and this is part of the reason why they go with the body positivity and everything is beautiful bullshit, is because these are the ugliest motherfuckers on the face of the earth. And I got no room to talk. I'm not a very good looking motherfucker, but most, if not 99.999999999% of these women that say that we're not going to have sex with men during Trump, nobody was trying to fuck you anyway. Nobody, literally nobody. Like, I guarantee you nobody, other than some desperate little hound. And in that case, they're not going to give a shit what they get out of it. So what the hell's the difference at this point? Because most conservative women, do you notice that? Like, I love the memes. Right?
Oh.
Like when you see like either the women that go from one to the extreme to the other, and it never fails to have it's the same effect every time. They either go from a very normal, good looking, healthy looking individual to an extreme, obsessed, crazed looking individual with some fucking STD, right?
Yeah,
or they look like somebody who's a crazed, estranged individual with some STD who found God and got conservative, and all of a sudden they look normal. Yeah. Right? Like, look, you can't fucking get around that. I'm not telling people the way to live their lives, but like I found a happy medium in the middle, I guess is the best way.
Well, that's a good point. I turn around and I see these sobbing activists and blue-haired cultists. It's like they're clinging to their nose rings like it's a life raft. But no, that's good. Thank you. Skis Spivak came back hot after that great super chat that he sent in. Gifting 10 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Please, everybody, go thank Skeeves and bless you for my friend. That is awesome. We keep growing. I cannot wait till our member stream has thousands of people in, because we're going to be having, every time we hold a member stream, I get to meet so many of you. The last one we did 2 weeks ago, I think it was literally, it was on a Saturday 2 weeks ago. And then that night's when I got a fever and I had gotten sick. But it was awesome. We went for almost, I think, 3 hours. Beautiful. Thank you, Skiz. And then we have Eric K, King of the Mods, for $5. I see this lady thinks liberal white women need to tell black women how they should think and what to do. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what Brandon Straka was able to get them. He twisted them in a knot by doing nothing but mirroring back what they were saying. And then we got Blitzen comes back in. He gifted 10 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Well, this is for Skiz and Blitzen. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Please go thank them, please. I'm going to play a couple of more of these clips, and then we'll be out of here.
Sounds good.
This is funny because Straka hit gold by showing the truth. Now, of course, some of them also treated him horribly, and I think this is what he's trying to show.
If you could look somebody who was there on January 6th right in the eyes, what would you say to them?
What did we do to the people who were treasonous back when we formed this country? We probably lynched them, right?
Hung them. Yeah.
Punishment. They shouldn't be allowed to be in this country. Not freely. Prison for the rest of their lives, perhaps. Indentured servitude, maybe. But they shouldn't be allowed to walk the streets. They should be locked up for the rest of their lives. They shouldn't be allowed freedom because they tried to take freedom from every other American who voted for the Biden administration.
It's a strong message. I hope that someday you get to meet a J6er and say that right to his face.
I would love that.
I think you'll have your chance.
I sure hope so.
I guess she didn't realize that he was one of them.
Of course not. They never do.
That just like
yeah, and that's they're just bouncing around on this. They're criminals, and he let them free. They're criminals. It's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm so sick of it. And then the other day they had a bunch of them that were going into the state capitals and trying to come in, and I don't know if you saw that or not, but
no,
last week it was. Yeah, I can't remember what day it was, but they all tried to like have some like where they would go in and disrupt the capitals, and yeah, it didn't turn out very well for most of them.
I didn't
Ones
see
that
that.
actually tried it anyway.
Oh,
They haven't done the Women's March in 4 years.
Yep.
Did you go in the past?
Yes.
You did?
These are originals.
These are original hats? Did you have to pull them out of a drawer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A lot of people, right?
Yes.
I think it's probably just a sea of dusty old pussies.
Exactly. We thought they were done forever and in more ways than one, but here they are again.
Long live the dusty old pussies.
Exactly.
he's just
Nobody cares about their pussy.
I know. Let's see this one.
They haven't done the Women's March.
Oh no,
It's
that's
the same one.
Why do they do that? I don't.
I don't know.
I think this is the last one.
What brings you out today, sir?
Yourself and get out of here. Get out. Now, get out of here.
Not very neighborly.
Say get out.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Just leave him alone.
What exactly am I doing?
He told you to leave him alone, so leave him the fuck alone.
He actually told me to get the fuck out, which is what you said to me too.
Get the fuck out.
Am I not allowed to be at the People's March?
Yeah, but he told you to get the fuck out, so get the fuck out, away from him. That's all. It's simple. It's not fucking rocket science. Am I speaking fucking Spanish? Do you not understand what I'm saying?
Is this the unifying energy that we're bringing to the People's March?
I don't know. Scientology's a cult. You guys are bitches. Fuck off.
Wow. What was that?
Some retard.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Are you really retarded?
And then we had this one today. I thought it was quite interesting.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the Black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror Black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms. Our government, no matter who.
I just thought everybody should see that. Oh, it's Jose Otaku, my good friend. What's going on? Are you watching the Spider-Man cartoon? No, I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it.
Yeah, same here, but I did hear recently they have, if I don't know if this is true or not, but Norman Osborn is the one who delivers the "with great power comes great responsibility" line in this version.
Come on. It's crap like that is why I haven't watched it. When I was seeing clips of it come out. Why? Have you seen it, Jose? Is it any good? Because what I might have heard, it's not that.
Yeah, I've heard nothing good about it, really.
No good. Anyway, I think that was it. Pretty much a good show. We will end on this last clip with Carolyn Levitt, our White House press secretary, just telling everybody how the cow ate the cabbage. I thought it was a beautiful thing because the AP is refusing to call Gulf of America. And so their reporters were not allowed into the Oval Office and they threw a hissy fit.
On it. And final thing for you, which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus. Many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool Capitol every single day and getting to ask the president questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. The prisoner exchange with Russia.
Ah, that's a beautiful thing. She took them to task. They're pissed off.
And not only that, she gave a political answer. She didn't really answer her question about whether, if that was the reason or not, they were not allowed, or they got their press thing revoked or whatever it was. She was just explaining. So they got, get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they got a political answer. She never actually answered whether or not that was the reason.
Because it makes sense. She's basically saying yes without saying yes, because she's like, you know what? The reality is.
But she didn't say yes. See,
I know.
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love her. I think she's great. It's like now you have the 8 inspector generals who Trump fired a couple of weeks ago are now suing to get their jobs back. I've never heard of any such insanity. You got fired from the president, by the president, and they're suing to get their jobs back. I'm like, you're fired. Go away. It's just very, very odd how certain things work. And Google today pissed off the left more than ever. They end on that. Google removes Black History Month and Pride Month from the calendar app. So I don't know. Is Google going base? Because they were the first ones to put Gulf of America on Google Maps. It's just something's changing at Google.
Well, and this kind of goes along with some of the other stuff. I mean, we didn't get too deep into it with the Disney thing. There is another side to this, right? Like, yes, I'm not happy that they reverted back to the old labels and they still have labels on there. That is kind of not, like it's taking one step in the right direction, but not a good, not quite over the line yet. But what they are doing is they're reconfiguring a lot of their other DEI stuff. And I use the term reconfigure for a reason, because they're not getting rid of all of it. But even like their Reimagine Tomorrow stuff has been completely changed and other things like that. So there is some kind of movement there. And I'm starting to wonder if we won't see more and more of it, especially now that, like you said, and the more that, Elon digs into where these like expenditures are coming from or going, or however you want to look at it, to where the more of these programs that get shut down, like that cartoon you showed earlier, I think is kind of true. And I think that's where a lot of these programs, a lot of these corporations are going to be like, yeah, well, we don't have the funding for that anymore. So bye-bye DEI program, right? Like, because that's what a lot of this shit was. And this is what we tried to explain to people. Because there's even on the creative side of Hollywood, right? Like they would have diversity quotas that had to be in the writer's room, right? And Script Doctor would explain to us how basically there would be this money that it did not come out of the budget of the show. Right? It didn't affect the budget of the show because it would come from an outside source that would pay for that extra writer to be in the room. Well, what was happening then was after that time period was up where they were paying for that writer, then that writer would just be moved out, right? They'd be fired or whatever, and then they'd freak out. Or it would be up to the studio to start paying for that writer themselves. And some of them, if they were good enough, they were brought on. But there was a few others that weren't. And they went out and they cried foul to the press. Well, it's like, well, that's what happens when you're a DEI hire. Right. And that's what these programs, I think, are doing. And that's what I think you said has been funding through a bunch of shell corporations. Because that's what I was saying earlier, is they're not even hiding this shit anymore, but they're sending this money. I guarantee you, once you start tearing apart what these companies really are and these other organizations that are getting this money, is a bunch of this money was going to fund this propaganda. And I bet you Disney and Amazon and Netflix are going to be three of the biggest, people that got money from a lot of this shit when it's all said and done. Now, that's just my speculation, but yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Because too much money, there's even reports, as JD Big Balls from 2028 said, there's even reports that Harry and Meghan received upwards of 13 million, to some reports say 30 million, because it came from their donation to their foundation, Archwell Foundation. They received $13 million in 1 year, and 11 million of it was from one fund called the Silicon Valley Fund. And the Silicon Valley Fund got a majority of its money from USAID. So they're like, you see where the money went? It's insane.
Yeah.
We're going to be discovering it. We're going to be discovering.
That's what I'm
more
saying.
and more.
Yeah, we're going to start finding how deep some of this shit goes, probably. Yeah.
And you had PBS today also stated that they officially solely dedicated to embracing the disputed ethos of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and has now removed their diversity officers. I don't know if that's because they're trying to save their skin.
There's some money probably that got taken.
Well, of course it is. Like Politico, they were having trouble making their paycheck, and they were making the joke like, no, Politico isn't getting any money from USAID. We just sell subscriptions to the government. Yeah, the tune of $8 million in everybody's
Bullshit.
paycheck. Yeah.
And that's where I'm calling bullshit on all this stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like you'll start seeing all these little programs start falling off, or complete departments being laid off, or just they're gone.
Yeah.
Why? Because the money's not there anymore. The stuff that was funding this shit has been uncovered through the you said crap, or something else will happen down the next line. And so
all right, well, that's it. We've had a great show. Thank you, everybody, from Skis and Mouse World, all of you amazing people, Blitzen, all of your support, all of your questions, all of just being wonderful. I'm glad you are all here. We had another Wednesday. I should be 100% by next week. I will be 100% by next week. And this weekend, I'm going to try to put together a member stream. That's where we're going to start talking about the special project that I have. You also more than likely see it on Sunday, or you get a clip of it. And, I think you're going to be surprised. I hope you're going to like it. I wish everybody a beautiful and blessed day. Thank you, Tom. Another great Wednesday, another great show. What do you got coming up next? You working on anything?
Tonight I have what is called the Physical Media Show over on Fanzine, where we talk about what we've watched this week on physical media. So check that out. That's always a favorite of mine. And you'll also get to see what I've been watching. And
awesome.
other than that, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna have Midnight's Edge After Dark tomorrow, probably, most likely, but so that should be there. And otherwise, the morning show on Friday. And we always drop videos from time to time, just keeping an open eye. And thank you for having me as always.
Always a pleasure. Great to have you here. All right, JD Big Balls 2028. Have a good day. War Monkey, always a pleasure. Giggity, Jose Taco, my good friend Bob the Lobster. Please, everybody, go thank Olaf, Lord Thoth, and Eric K, King of the Mods, and everybody who was amazing today. Let me see if I can finally set this outro video correctly. Down the button. There we go. Yes. StreamYards really doesn't like me. There we go. All right. Have a blessed day, everybody. And remember, we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward.